caused me to struggle to retain information in the same ways as many of my peers. I had no knowledge of my disability in high school and no support for my disability when switching to online school. I remember sitting and staring at my screen, crying. I was so angry at myself. I did not know why all of my classmates could watch these pre-recorded learning videos and understand these topics presented to us. It felt as if there was some invisible wall in front of me, preventing me from continuing forward alongside my classmates. I watched as the MPHS graduation happened over Zoom, seeing my friends drive through their graduation ceremony without me. Despite my efforts, I did not get to graduate alongside them. 3 years later, after far too many small jobs, I realized that my life at only 21 years old was already going the wrong way for me. I was promoted in my stay-at-home customer service position, raising through the ranks. I was becoming important there. This scared the ever-loving life out of me. Being stuck in a loveless job for the rest of my existence seemed to be a surefire way to suffocate my chances of me making my life into what I knew I was capable of. Without much thought, I decided I was going to get my GED. The decision, well, made quickly, instilled a new sense of fear into me. I realized that I had forgotten how to be a student. Regardless, I was determined to succeed and push through all of my doubts. For those with GED testing accommodations, such as myself, you will need to call the scheduling company directly and have the times available presented to you. But there were many setbacks for me that made scheduling them before the term almost not happen. With the help of the GED staff and the testing center, in about 2 weeks of struggling with scheduling, I was able to get a test date made with less than 4 days before the next term began. Hoping to start college by the next term, I took all 4 nerve-wracking tests. And as determination will have it, I passed. In a matter of 3 short months, I went from seeing myself as a high school failure who wasn't capable of graduating to suddenly being a college student. In my mind, once I left high school, I was already gone, past the point of redemption, too far out of school to possibly have a chance of making it if I tried again. But the voices of 2 specific people, I'm going to cry, are the only reason that I am here today. My mother is my best friend. After I lost my father at 16 years old, she was suddenly forced into the role of a single mother, a role she was never prepared for. A college student herself and a full-time employee, the death of my father was unbearable for her. Amongst all her pain and frustration, she knew that she only had so much to stretch herself and could only dedicate herself to one thing at a time. And she chose my little brother and I. Dropping her own dreams for us, she has now become my greatest supporter. Checking over my essays, listening to my endless rant, and providing so many great tips for studying, I would be lost without her. If she weren't brave enough to go back to school as a 30-something, I don't know if I ever would have been brave enough to come back on my own. If it weren't for her, I don't think I would have been brave enough to even step foot on the campus. Of the 2 people who influenced me the most, my boyfriend Dane has always been there for me in this journey. Dane is the one who ensured me that I have the capabilities to not only try, but to succeed. He's the one who bragged on me, informing me that I was capable and able to take the world in my hands. On the late nights where I was crying about school, he was there to hold me. When I was doing 5 assignments all at once from sheer procrastination catching up to me, he would make us dinner so we didn't forget to eat. Through the entire learning journey, I have been mad and confused and sad for the tribulations, but no matter how hard it was or how rough I was toward him, he was always there for me. He's my rock. wall, wondering if my life would ever get better. Amongst all of my issues with my disability, the GED staff have been my guiding light throughout it all. They have never given up on me. They helped me in any way that they could. When I asked Cassandra how to enroll in college and how the process went, she used her whole break to meet with me over Zoom and teach me how to file for FAFSA. Amy is the best she'll ever lean on, and she ran herself ragged looking up ideas and tips, and she was there with me in the office when I found out I was a GED graduate. She stayed late. On the day after we put my childhood cat Sassy down, Amy seemed to just know how bad of a day I was having and sat with me while she had lunch. I am so grateful for her endless compassion. Curtis and Kristen battled my complications with scheduling head on, pulling me out of class and taking time outside of their own to help me come up with a game plan. Something that both Curtis and Kristen said simultaneously, almost as if it were planned, is ingrained in my brain. After the meeting, I thanked them, to which they responded by telling me, well, we're worth it. I will continue to do my best in school and prove to myself that the words are truthful. My whole existence, I have been known for two main traits: being loud and being compassionate. Moving forward with the compassionate trait, I've always had a deep desire to help people. Even as a young child, I knew that people deserved more empathy than they were being given. And I knew I was capable of being the person to be there for them. When I was 14, my grandfather fell suddenly ill due to hyponatremia. He and I were home alone, and I tried my hardest to help him as much as I could until real help arrived, but I will never forget how helpless I felt. This man, the only grandfather figure I've ever had who was willing to stay, was on the floor in front of me, and I couldn't do anything to change that. He has recovered wonderfully and is sitting in the audience here supporting me today. But this event will never leave my mind. I decided that I will not be helpless again. I'm currently a SWAT student enrolled in my pre-nursing course. I'm excited to become an RN to ensure that if something medical happens again, I can do more than grab a cold compress. I will be taking my fear and turning it into my strength, into my inspiration to succeed. I know that I am capable now, and I know that everyone in this graduate class alongside me is just as capable as making any dreams that they have become reality. Save your life as all you've ever known and ever owned. These words, sang by Noble Moore, stand out to me with great strength. It is true, the lives that we have are ours, and they are what we make of them. No one else has the right to tell us who we are, what we are capable of, or what we will accomplish. We, the graduating GED class of 2023, are here today because we took our lives in our own hands. We canceled the static noise of the voices of birth to our growth. Whether we are here today to graduate faster than the K-12 timeline, to graduate within a different pace of learning, or graduating after we enter